What's up YouTube, Jeff Beck again from DopeTechDaily.com, and today I'm bringing you guys, finally, my impressions and unboxing of the Essential phone. Now, first of all, just to get a few things out of the way, if you've been following me on Twitter, you know that Essential hasn't actually shipped my unit yet, and this is not my Essential phone unit. Huge shout out to my friend Mike K, who I met online but actually lives a couple miles away from me here in Phoenix. He let me borrow his for the weekend. He got his in, I think, a couple days ago, so I could make some videos and initial impressions. I still have my order in with Essential. I haven't canceled it yet, despite trying to get in touch with them. I'm still on the fence, so I'm going to use it, and we'll see how I feel about it at the end. I'm not going to let the terrible customer service they've given me so far impact my judgment of the device. So that's the disclaimer up front. Today I want to talk about the device. I've had it for 24 hours, picked it up from Mike yesterday. Haven't had a chance to put a full 100% charging cycle on it yet, but I did use it all last night. Took some few preliminary photos today, watched some videos, listened to some stuff. So first, again, I'm not going to do like a full unboxing, mainly because this is his phone and I don't want to take everything out of the packaging. He basically got the phone and then right away let me use it. Really, really appreciate that. You've got the plastic that came on the top here. You've got a really nice, so they did do a really nice job presenting the stuff that's in the box. This is all braided, so get this out there. USB-C dongle for your headphone jack, because there is no headphone jack actually built into the phone, which is a downside in my opinion. You've also got braided USB Type-C cable. I definitely like the quality of the braided cables. Power brick, and then they also slipped, looks like the documentation and the SIM tool right there between the compartment that holds the phone and then the remaining accessories right there. So again, I don't want to take everything out of here because it is his phone and I want to make sure that all the stuff is preserved. So that's what's in the box anyway. Slide it back in there. They did a great job on packaging. Too bad they just haven't been able to ship them any considerable volume yet. So here's the actual phone. So let's talk a little bit about that. The phone has an amazingly beautiful build. That's the first thing I'll say. I certainly can't knock Essential for the build quality on this phone. Ceramic and titanium. Ceramic on the back and then titanium. Now, one thing to note about the ceramic back, though, is that this does have some coating on it, which will scratch. So a lot of people have mentioned, that ceramic is a lot more durable than having glass on the back, which is true. But the coating they put on the top here, this glossy coating, which is a fingerprint magnet as well, that will definitely scratch. So the other downside is there aren't really any cases available. That's something that Mike mentioned to me when I picked this up from him. He tried to find some on Amazon. I also couldn't really find any good third-party case options yet, so that's something to consider. Otherwise, just really nice construction. There's on the bottom, you can see the ports you've got, USB Type-C. Kind of weird, the SIM tray is on the bottom. That's something that we don't see too often. You do have speaker grill down there at the bottom. Obviously, the very minimal bezel is the selling point. Up top, you've got the front-facing camera there. Some bezel down at the bottom, very similar to the Mi Mix, except the weird camera placement in this case is at the top. To be honest with you, after using it for 24 hours, I don't even notice that camera placement up there. Looks weird for the first few hours that you use it, especially if you're coming from a more traditional 16:9 phone. I'll compare it to some other ones in a second. But the build quality is beautiful. I mean, machined very nicely. It's an incredibly heavy phone, so it feels like a fine piece of jewelry or something that that you would really want to wear when you go out nice, get dressed up. Fingerprint scanner on the back is very fast. It's center mounted, which I appreciate. Really getting tired of those off-center Samsung scanners just because I use center mounted scanners on the Pixel and phones like this all the time. Dual cameras on the back. It's got a monochrome sensor, which is really nice. I took a couple black and white photos. I'll show you guys that in a second. LED flash. Overall, the build quality is excellent. I definitely can't knock them there. You're going to get fingerprints, but I imagine if you drop this phone that it's not going to get beat up too badly. And since it's Mike's phone, I'll refrain from dropping it on purpose. So let's talk a little bit about the software. The software on the phone is ridiculously bare bones out of the box. It's pretty much stock Android with even fewer apps than you would get if you were using a Pixel phone. And I took a screenshot. If I can find the screenshot here, I'll show you guys really quick. The screenshot of what was on there right out of the box on this phone. So when I got it booted up and set it up, these are the apps that are on there. All like bare bones Google apps. There's actually only 16 apps out of the box. It's pretty much the apps that Google mandates that manufacturers put on there in order to use, their version of Android. So very bare bones, 128 gigs of storage, 4 gigs of RAM, and Snapdragon 835. You've got very good power under the hood. It performs beautifully. I mean, it's just as smooth as a Pixel in the time I've been using it. Of course, I'm still loading up some apps. As you can see, I loaded up quite a few games, Netflix, so I could test a few things. But the performance is great. I personally like stock Android, so it definitely gives you another option if the Pixel isn't really your thing. Now for the somewhat bad news, at least in my opinion. So far, this is not very stable. The phone got some updates right out of the box. And actually, let me check and see if there's another one because they've been updating the phone so frequently. Who knows? There might be another update waiting at this point too. But Mike got an update right as he got it out of the box. There's not another one. But the camera and a lot of other apps still force close. So not only the camera app, which I'll talk more about in just a second, but apps like Chrome, Netflix. I've had quite a few things just force close on me and weird bugs like that. It also took me a long time to get my Google apps to sync. I don't know, something like 5 hours. And Mike commented to me he had a similar problem. So obviously that seems to be the case. We both set it up from scratch. So he set it up, used it for a little bit, and then reset it so I could use it. So that seems to be a problem. The camera app, which is what a lot of people have commented on, this is definitely the thing that needs the most work. So first I'll show you guys a few of the photos I took, some textured shots, then are macros, a shot of my car. This is with HDR. If you notice, it doesn't really get as much detail in the sky as you see on the HDR and the Pixel. And to be honest with you, it's kind of washed out because this was taken outside in Arizona in the daylight. It's not nearly as bright as I'd get something like the Note FE or the Galaxy S8 or the Pixel. I'll try to do a comparison video if I have time or once I get my unit in. There's the black and white, the monochrome. That does look nice. I was a big fan of that on Huawei's phones as well. Another shot. This one's without HDR. There's actually not a huge difference between what you see in the sky, HDR to non-HDR. Picture of my new doormat on my new house. Just a sentimental thing. Some more macros. The detail is actually really good in good lighting, but it struggles in low light. And also the shutter speed. I can't even tell you, the shutter speed is incredibly slow. So if I just show you real quick, not only is it slow, it's hard to know when you took a picture. And you can see up here, it takes forever to process. So if I sit the Note FE down and take a photo really quick, press on this guy, look how long it takes for it to appear up there, and it's still processing. Still processing. It's finally ready. It takes a really long time for it to actually get ready and fire a photo. In my opinion, I mean, compared to how long it takes something like the Note FE to take a photo, let's do a comparison. Let me pop open the camera on the Note FE, take a photo really quick, and let's just see how long it takes for it to process it and do its thing. Right away, it's ready instantaneously. And if you compare them, again, I have only had one day, but I guarantee you the quality is going to be better on the Samsung phone and on the Pixel. So, I mean, overall, let me show you a few other photos that showed off the shutter speed. I took a couple other macros, landscape shots. I mean, it does okay in good lighting. It's just that the shutter speed is so slow, it takes so long to process. It's hard to know when you took a photo, and it force closes like all the time. So there's a lot of work to be done on the camera. That's really the only thing that Essential touched, aside from stock Android. They didn't really customize anything else. So it's kind of a shame that they got that wrong. Battery life, I haven't really had a chance to look at yet. It's 30, 40 milliamp hours. So I would expect you're not going to get like 2-day battery life or anything, but maybe it'll get through a day. Speakers, I did test those, listening to some media and some music. Speaker, quite good actually. It's quite loud. That's one thing I'll give them props for. So the build, the audio quality, and in my opinion, I like the stock Android sort of bare bones feel. But there's a lot of downsides to this phone, also things that are not included. You notice when I went around the phone, there's no headphone jack, top or bottom. That's because it's missing. They do give you the dongle, which is okay, I guess. It doesn't have any water resistance, waterproofing on it, so that's a downside from other flagships as well. No wireless charging built into this phone, something else that all the Samsung phones have, and now the LG V30 is going to have. And then lastly, you don't have a micro SD slot in here, so no expandable memory. I mean, it has 128 gigs, so that's probably not as huge of a downside, but it's always a nice thing to have, especially if you're a power user. All right, so just a quick size comparison, because I think one of the huge strengths of this is its build and just how compact it is with this, bezel-less thing at the top going on. This is a size comparison to the Note FE, so traditional 16:9 5.7-inch phone compared to the more compact 5.7-inch screen on the bezel-less, quote-unquote, Essential phone. Look at the height difference is ridiculous. In terms of the width, it's still not nearly as wide. It's not quite as dramatic as the height, but you know the difference is there. And then you can see though with the thickness, it definitely holds its own with the thickness. It's thicker than the Note FE and thicker than a lot of phones. It's definitely dense. It weighs quite a bit. Kind of comical against the Galaxy S8 Plus. Galaxy S8 Plus is going to be so much taller. It's kind of crazy. The Galaxy S8 Plus, very difficult to use one-handed compared to this. HTC U11, so another comparison for a more traditional 16:9. This one doesn't even have really the same size screen because HTC has those huge bezels on the front compared to the Essential phone. What else? The OnePlus 5, which is not even 5.7 inches again. This is a 5.5. It's still comically taller than the Essential phone. And let's see, for one that's really, really dramatic, here's the Xperia XZ Premium. One of my favorite phones, actually, and I need to get around to a full review on this one. Just haven't had time. Look at the size difference between these two. The XZ Premium doesn't even have 5.7-inch screen. It's 5.5. Look how much taller it is. And then, thanks to Sony's giant bezels, look how much wider it is. And in the thickness department, the XZ Premium is almost as thick as well as the Essential phone. So, in my opinion, with 24 hours, I would say I love the build quality. I like the compact size. The audio is really quite good, and I'm a fan of the software in terms of the overall fluidity, but a lot of apps seem to be force closing. There seem to be some background issues, and the camera just needs so much work that it's ridiculous. All right, guys, so that is my 24-hour impression size comparisons on the Essential phone. If you guys enjoyed it, please like and subscribe so I can make future videos like this. Find me at dopetechdaily.com, Google+, Instagram, and Twitter. The link's in the description. I appreciate you guys checking out this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks a lot for watching.